Hello, this video is to help you better understand phonological awareness, which is one of the essential elements of effective reading in the science of reading instruction. So, phonological awareness is the ability to be able to notice sound structures of spoken words. So, it deals specifically with the sounds and how words are spoken. Phonemic awareness has to do with the ability to identify, isolate, and manipulate language sounds into their individual parts. Phonological awareness is the umbrella that helps us to be able to use sounds and understand sounds. And as students learn the continuum for how these words and sound parts work, this is going to set them up for success in order to be able to decode and blend and segment words once graphemes, or also known as phonics, are introduced to the students. So phonological awareness is, again, the ability to be able to understand the structure of oral language. So if you look at our continuum, you'll notice that spoken word is the first, and as students are able to have word awareness, then they will be able to do different tasks with those sounds within the word, and then the sounds within the individual sounds within the parts of the word. So remember, phonological awareness can be done in the dark. It involves no print. It just has to do with sounds. I will refer to these tables because it makes the concepts of being able to understand phonological awareness easier to understand. So the task move from word awareness, this has to do with students understanding words within a sentence, down to the word syllable parts, rhyming, being able to produce onset rhymes, being able to deduce the rhyme parts in the onset rhyme, and then individual sounds are known as phonemes. So once students are able to do these tasks, then the individual phoneme sounds task involve being able to identify phonemes, isolating them. So isolating the sounds, blending sounds, segmenting sounds, and then you have manipulation, which is one of the skills that students learn probably second grade and up. The earlier they're able to learn, the more successful they'll be. But students are not expected to know how to add, delete, or substitute individual sounds within a word until the end of first grade, moving on to second grade. All right, here is an example. We're going to start with word recognition, or also known as spoken word. If I give students a sentence, for example, I like school, how many words are in that sentence, I like school? Students have different ways to be able to identify the words within the sentence. One example would be able to use counters for students to be able to visualize the words. So I like school. Students can visualize that there are 3 sounds in the word I like school. So I like school, how many words do we hear in that sentence? 3. We go to school. We go to school. There are 4 words in that sentence. I play soccer. I play soccer. How many words do I hear in that sentence? There are 3 words in that sentence. We learn in class. We learn in class. How many word parts do I hear in that sentence? 4. He reads a book. He reads a book. There are 4 parts in that sentence. Jim can dunk the ball. Jim can dunk the ball. How many parts do we hear in that sentence? There are 5 parts, or 5 words in the sentence. Next, if we continue on, students need to be able to identify syllable parts, or parts in a word. So if I gave the student the word apple, how many parts do you hear in the word apple? Students could clap apple, or they could use counters to identify how many parts. Apple. So in this case, there would be 2 parts in the word apple. Butterfly, butterfly. How many parts are in that word? Butterfly. Football. How many parts do I hear in the word football? Football. I also could use this as a blending example. So if I said the word football, could you blend it together? Students would blend it into one word, football. Same thing. Butterfly. How many parts do I hear in that word? 3, but if you ask them, you could use blending and segmenting also. So butterfly. Could you blend that word? What would these parts make? Butterfly. Apple. If I put it together, what would the word be? Apple. If I wanted to segment it, I would give students the whole word and then ask them to take part of it away. So say apple, but don't say and then students would manipulate the word part pull. So the counters are good visuals. Say apple, but don't say apple. So you could use counters as visuals for students to use. Also, if students are having trouble understanding the blending concept or segmenting, um, you could use this as an example to have students blend parts together, segment the parts, or even delete parts of the word. So if I ask students to say the word cupcake, how many parts are here in that word? Cup, cake. I could use this as an example to manipulate the word parts. So say cupcake, but don't say cake. What would my word be? Cup. So again, the counters can be visual tools, but also photos could be a visual tool for students who may be struggling with doing this orally without any print or any visual aids. So if the word was cupcake, students need to understand that cup plus cake makes cupcake. I could say the word say cupcake, but don't say cup. What would my word say? It would say cake. So this is teaching the students how to be able to manipulate the word parts. So the word is cupcake. Cupcake without cake would just be the word cup. Okay, for example, I have the word jellyfish. Say jellyfish, but don't say jelly. Fish. Say jellyfish, but don't say jelly. Fish. Say jellyfish, but don't say fish. Jelly. So this is an example. I could also use it to blend the parts together. Jelly, fish. Jelly plus fish would make the word jellyfish. So here again is an example. Jelly plus fish equals jellyfish. Or jelly take away fish would be jelly. Let's try the word rainbow. I could ask students to segment this. Rainbow, put it together makes rainbow. So rain plus bow equals rainbow, or we could take it apart. Rainbow, rainbow. We also could blend the parts together or also segment, which means to take them apart. So bow plus rain would be bow rain. So we probably would want to switch these to where it's rain plus bow, so students would understand that concept. Rain plus bow equals rainbow. Rainbow minus bow is rain. So if example for a student, I would say rainbow, rainbow. Okay, now say rainbow, but don't say bow. What word or what part are you left with? Rain. So we just discussed some of the phonological tasks. So we talked about word awareness. Again, that's where it's spoken word, how many words are in a sentence. We talked about syllables. That's being able to blend word parts together and segment them, and then also change them. So the next part we're going to talk about is rhyme. The next part is rhyming. Students need to be able be able to do two types of rhyme production. One has to do with being able to recognize rhyming words, and then the other is being able to produce words that rhyme with a specific word. So rhyme recognition would be able to determine mop, jar. Do those two words rhyme? No. Okay. Cat, bat. So if given students words to match would be an example. If students are able to match words that rhyme, so an example would be car, jar, mop, top, cat, hat, run, sun. These are examples of rhyme recognition. The second part is rhyme production, where you give students a word and they're able to articulate other words that rhyme with a specific word. So if I said the word cat, give me a word that rhymes with cat, cat, hat, cat, rat, sat, fat, mat. This involves your word families: jar, car, star, bar, sun, run, fun. So again, rhyming has to do with recognizing parts that match, and then production has to do with being able to articulate a word that rhymes with a specific word. The next part of our phonological task involves phonemes. These are the individual sounds in words. So students, you want them to be able to identify, isolate, blend, and segment in the beginning stages. And then once they've mastered these, then the manipulation stages of being able to add, delete, and substitute sounds would come next. So for example, it would be giving a student a word, like the word top. And I ask, could you tell me what's the beginning sound you hear in the word top? Top. So students have to be late. Students have to be able to articulate. They have to know beginning, middle, and end. So the word top, the first sound I would hear is t. If I said, oh, could you tell me what's the final sound you hear in the word top? T, op, p, p. Students would articulate the last sound. And then the middle or the medial sound would be ah. So again, this is just a visual for you to see. You want students to be able to do this without print, but for students who may be struggling, a visual might be a good strategy to help them figure out the task that you're wanting them to do. So here's another example. Suns. What's the first sound you hear in the word? I'm sorry. What's the first sound or the initial sound you hear in the word sun? Sun. Sun. So that's that beginning sound. Okay, I have the word bug. Could you tell me what's the last sound or the final sound you hear in the word bug? Bug. So students would need to indicate that the final sound in that word would be g, bug. Okay, once students are able to identify the initial and the final sounds, the next part would be able to have students blend word parts together. So you would break apart the sound and hopefully have them blend it. So if I say the word t, oo, th, you want students to be able to blend that word fully together. So t, oo, the. Students' goal would be able to blend it together. Tooth. Now, you don't need the counters, but again, this is just a visual for you to see. Tooth. It also could be the opposite. So the opposite of blending would be segmenting. So this is where you would give students the whole word, and then you would have them break it apart. So the word is tooth. Can you break it apart? Ooh, the. Okay, same thing. If I were blending, lip, ip. So I would give students just the sound ip, and they would blend it together, lip. If I wanted them to segment it, I would break it apart. I would say the full word, and then they would break it apart. So could you break apart the word lip? Ooh. Okay, if we're blending, I would say ag. Could you blend that together? Bag would be the response. If I said, oh, could you segment this word? I would give them the full word, bag, and then they would break it apart. Ag. Phoneme deletion deals with giving students a word and then having them taking away the individual part, whether it's the beginning, middle, and end, and then asking them to articulate or speak the rest of the part that's left. So if I said, say the word hat, and I'll say hat without what would my word be? At. Okay, say the word pig, but don't say p. What would my word be? Ig. It also could be where I delete the last sound. Say the word train, but don't say n. Tray would be the word. If I said, say the word clap, but don't say k, the word would be lap. If I needed the students to segment a word, I would say something like, say the word man. Now change the m to a k. What's my new word? Can. Say the word hat. Change the h to a m. What would my word make? The word mat. So again, this is just an example of how you would use the phonological awareness standards or tasks to help students be able to learn to manipulate the sounds in words as well as words within a sentence. I hope this video helps you. I will try to post more. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks for your time and enjoy your day.